Yo, TF. Back with a quick video here. Today we're going to be taking out the J12 that I've had for a couple weeks now. 2-3 weeks. Been playing with, taking apart, beating up, doing all that sort of stuff. And I want to take the feed neck off and replace it with a No Pro. I prefer those. This is actually one I'm robbing off my T2 for now, just to get the video shot. First thing we're going to do here is take off the barrel, of course. But what you need to do, essentially, is just turn off this feed neck right here. The problem is that as they come from the factory, they have red Loctite on them, and it depends just on how much Loctite gets put on it from the factory as to how much of a pain in the butt this is going to be. So what I do is I like to chuck it up in a vise. It's good to have soft jaws, it's good to have a lot of things, but what I have, because I do leather work on the side, is extra pieces of leather. And you know, I think that you could just, you know, reef and crank it down and you know, worry about that later. I mean, how much does the J12 cost, you know? But
ring, sucker.
Hold on, I got a phone call.
Ring, sucker.
It's my Mr. T. Hold on. Hello. Yeah, it's TF. Oh, hey, Mel. Yeah, no, I was just shooting a video. Oh. Oh, no shit. Yeah, they cost that much, huh? Oh, all right. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Yeah, you're going to want to be really careful with this marker when you're chucking it up. Make sure not to scratch the ano. I just use a couple of pieces of leather here and chuck it up. Again, soft jaws would work, but I find leather is not much of a problem. And I'll tell you what I do. I leave on, I'm make sure you can see that, I leave on the whatever clamp I've got. This one's one of the speed lever type of guys. I leave that on and clamp it down to its tightest. And the reason I do that, this actually has to come back off one. The reason I do that is because that gives me a little bit of leverage to turn off that feed neck. Now, the other thing that you're going to need here, a couple more things. One that for sure is needed is a strap wrench. And you know, this one you can get at any of the sort of big box stores, Home Depot, Walmart type of thing. This is not a high dollar one, but it's worked for everything that I've needed it to do for it. This is called the Grip Wrench Pro Series. Thank God it's the Pro Series, because I don't want amateur series any damn thing. But and some people use a hopper at this point. They'll stick a hopper in here, attempting to prevent this feed neck from collapsing on itself when it gets turned off. Yes, you'll be putting a new one on, but you know, other people will buy a mid-rise, or you might want to keep it for another application or keep it for your own gun. So some people I don't like that, because I've done this before. One, it's in your way, and two, that little plastic is usually not enough to tighten down onto to make that work and not crush this feed neck in. Now, you can always reshape them a little bit, but they're never quite right. And if you're going to do it right, you know. So what you're going to need is some form of dowel. Now, I've got here some machinable plastic that I had laying around at the shop. It's a little bit small. Even when I tighten it down, it's not quite there. But I have found that, you know, a couple of wraps of tape will work. What you're going to need is just something that's just a bit over an inch and 30 seconds, something like that, and get that to fit in there. A plug of wood would work, but I would try to make sure that you were getting a plug of wood that was oak. You know, usually the dowels that you get are pine, and they're not very strong, and you're gonna struggle with that and have trouble. Let me give that a quick measurement. I mean, granted, it's just with a tape measure. I would expect you to use calipers, but yeah, 1.8, a little under 1.8, so 1.16, 1 3/32, something like that would get you there. I think you had 1.16, and this is actually just an inch, so I had to add a little bit more onto it. Now, again, all this is machinable plastic. I cut off, you know, on it with a hacksaw, and then, you know, drilled, and then you put an eye screw just so I can pull it back out when I want to. So that's on there pretty good. Now, you can give that a turn by itself, and what you just saw, I didn't think that was going to happen. well, maybe not. Was that, I think that might have broken free a little bit. That's pretty rare. Usually right here at this joint, again, is where you've had Loctite applied. So what you're going to need to do is heat this up a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is pull the bolt. And the wisest thing to do, especially if you find yourself adding quite a bit of heat, pull the whole bottom end and you know, use the gun by itself. But usually it doesn't require all that. Now the way strap wrenches work is as you're turning them, and let me use this as an example, although it's pretty small for the strap wrench. As you're turning them, you know, that'll freely turn in there, but you want that to turn against the teeth over here. You want that to turn against those teeth and grab as they're turning. So make sure that if you're, you know, righty tighty lefty loosey here on this thing, so we got to go lefty loosey. So I'm going to put this on as such, and the way I'm orienting it, let me make sure you can see that again. The way I'm orienting it, yes you can, is to grab this cam, to grab that quick cam. And so I want that to be able to grab that for the most amount of leverage and do that. And again, this is all just strap wrenches, nice and soft. You don't have anything. If you are worried about that, you know, wrap it in a couple of wraps of duct tape. Usually what I do is I'll grab duct tape, gaffer's tape, whatever, tear it down the middle there, you know, wrap it around 5-10 times, whatever you think is thick enough. Usually that's enough to not only grab a hold of this, but the strap wrench can grab a hold of it. Now, what you're going to want to do if you're having trouble getting this off is apply some form of heat. Some form of heat. Wouldn't it be cool if that lit? See, you mother. Wait for it. No. Why? Some form of heat to the area, the joint, between the body and the feed neck. Luckily, backup lighter. So, you know, get that going. There we go. And add a little bit of heat right here, going evenly around. Okay. This is aluminum. Aluminum wants to spread its heat very quickly. Now, what some people, these can be really stubborn. So I would apply some heat and see if it works. If not, do it again. See if it works. What some people have reported is to heat shock it, essentially. So they'll apply heat like this for a bit, going around and around. They might even dip it upside down in boiling water, stuff like that. I've heard a lot of different ways. I don't like the water thing because it makes it slick. But anyway, keep on adding heat, and they'll toss it in the freezer. And that heat shocks that Loctite into letting go. All you're really doing is heating that back up to a liquid form. You're putting on a strap wrench now. Let's see how we do it. It did feel pretty loose. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, but let's give it a shot. That didn't work. Let's realign. Take two. There we go. So, ooh, it is going to fight me a little. Want to evenly go around. I want to make sure that this is staying as horizontal as it possibly can and go around here. You still see that it's fighting me even a little bit. That's quite a bit it's fighting me. Let's readjust. So the Loctite gave up a little and it started binding in the threads. Pretty normal. There we go. Now we're moving again. Oh, you know what? I think I'm just moving that collar. I might have to apply some more heat, baby, heat. There we go. No more heat needed, although that would have made it a little bit smoother, a little bit easier. That's a little scary sounding when you're using a... But look what just came out. There's red Loctite right there. So there was obviously enough to bind that baby up pretty well. Which is good. I mean, you want that. Especially when you get a new gun, that's the last thing you want to just come off kind of willy-nilly. So here, take a look at this. Here is the feed neck off the marker, right? There's all that red goob there that once was Loctite. And then, let me grab this. There you go. inside the feed neck, you're seeing quite a bit of red Loctite. So what I'm going to do at this point is grab a pick, some sort of dental pick or cleaning pick like this, and just chase all these threads in here. Chase all these threads in here to make sure all that Loctite is out of there, that old Loctite. When you're done, make sure you clean out. Boy, you can see where they dropped it in. Clean it out with a squeegee to make sure that Loctite is not falling out of a valve or something like that. Grab a squeege. Run this in real quick. In fact, I'm just going to leave that like that to catch any of these red Loctite while I'm working. Make sure I'm not impeding my own view. Nope. Okay, that's about it. Well, let me get this side. There's the side that had a lot. Sometimes this thing can get so tight you want to curse the assembler's name. This one would have been Rod, so Rod probably gets cursed a lot for stuff that, he did right, but you want it to be easier. And then again, I'm going to run this around and make sure I've got that all taken care of. That can even be done later. So, let me grab something to get this off of here. Screwdriver. There we go. And this can come right back out at that point. It's not stuck in there. And then again, I'm going to put this back in the No Pro, which you can see the difference now between the No Pro and the mid-rise. Okay. About a ½ an inch. Just the way I like to run my hoppers. I don't see a problem with running them that way, so I do. Now, you can add Loctite at this point, whatever color you think is applicable. Red is a permanent Loctite, and blue is for fittings. Green is somewhere in between. What do? None. That's just me. That's just me. Now, I'll tell you why I do that way once I get this snugged down. So again, all the way back around, and I'm going to grab my strap wrench. Again, making sure I turn this the other way. You don't want those teeth this way, or that's all the way. It's not going to tighten going this way. So you've got to flip this over, tighten this down like this, and now I can give it a little tweakage here. Tighten this up. Technical term, tweakage. Also applies to people on methamphetamines or Canadians. So that's now tightened down. I just align this, leave that loose, pull this out, and that's it. I mean, you've changed now your feed neck out. So let me pull this out of the vise carefully. So no scratches on the side, no damage, no nothing. You can barely even see the indentation on the leather. It's not like I cranked down on that bad boy and did that. Let me throw this back on and this back on. But I leave mine like this because if the hopper, let me grab a hopper real quick. If the hopper, if you're going into a bunker hard and you're running in and you hit your hopper, the hopper can either snap or the feed neck can snap, especially if you're going in hard, right? If you're diving in. I'm not a diving player, but I have been known to dive now and again. It's usually quite comical. But if you are diving in and land on that hopper first, you can shear this off and even do damage to the threads inside here. And this body is probably, of course, the most expensive component on the gun. That's how to switch out that. Apply heat in any way that you feel is safe. I wouldn't use a blow torch or anything like that, honestly. The lighters, except for this piece of crap, the lighters have worked just fine. Stuff like that. Again, I've heard people of, hair dryers, heat guns, anything that's just going to add some good heat. Probably the heat gun is probably their best option if you've got one. Leave it at the proper distance, get a good heat all the way around, lay it on there, and it'll probably come right off for you. So, anyway, that's it. This is TF. Get out there. Play pump, man. Play pump. Talk to you later.